True North Reviews. True North Reviews. True North Reviews.
Hey there, welcome to True North Reviews. My name is Ryan, and today we are doing some hot and cold. This is a video series I like to do where I talk about the best and worst music I heard over the past week, the hot being the best, the worst being the cold, and some middle of the road tracks as well. As always, the links to all the songs will be down below in the description. If you want to check out any of them, they'll be there. And if you have any shoutouts, any recommendations for new songs for me to check out, remember to comment down below or message me any other way you know how to reach me. This week, there are no official shoutouts just because I noticed all the songs that were being recommended fell under the week of what I'm covering in this video, so I didn't feel like they deserved to get their own special treatment. They will fall under the hot, middle of the road, or cold categories. And to start this week with the best of the best, we have the hot tracks. First up, I want to be talking about that new Kanye West single featuring Travis Scott. It is called Wash Us in the Blood. And this song is proving that there might be a lot more potential with Kanye's gospel rap, more than what a lot of people would like to give him credit for. And look, while we all know that Kanye has had his fair share of raps about religion in the past, that kind of dates back to his college dropout days. And of course, on top of that, he's had his public meltdowns and his narcissistic tendencies, and now he's announcing that he's running for the next president of the United States of America. I don't know how I could just pass that off in the context of things of this song. As unpredictable as his actions have been in person, his music is kind of following suit. And yes, I've loved a good majority of what Kanye has put out, including Jesus is King, unlike a lot of people. And in relation to this new song, the beat in particular, I think a lot of people will see improvements over a lot of the weakest links to Jesus is King, and that's a great sign. Now, I do have my nitpicks with the lazy and kind of lousy rhymes in the final verse, but I mean, it's a well-produced track. Now, something very unpredictable, still on the hot tracks, is this next song with slowthai on a dance beat along with Disclosure. This song is entitled My High, and as little as I know about Disclosure, I kind of get the drift that they have that UK funk and house sound to their name. They've typically had artists like Sam Smith, Lord, The Weeknd, those types of pop artists on their tracks, but with an up-and-coming name like slowthai just getting all the attention for UK hip-hop and grime, I mean hip-hop being one of the most listened to genres around the world right now, it is suitable and certainly understandable why a song like this would come into existence. And the result, there's a very danceable beat on here. Like, I couldn't stop moving my body even after like the first listen. The hip-hop verse, you can kind of tune that out if you don't like that, and I just keep coming back to that danceable beat. It's great. Up next, we have a couple pop artists with Ellie Goulding featuring Lauv on the track Slow Grenade, putting my pronunciation to the test with the artist names. For some reason, I can never say their names right. But about Slow Grenade, there is a cool, delayed, almost staccato flow to the melody. I like that a lot. There's a catchy as all hell chorus on here. Lauv and Ellie sing pretty well together, and it's another enjoyable single from Ellie. Just keep that in mind as we head towards the new album from her later this month. Boo-boo! Moving on, we have BRONSON featuring Totally Enormous Extinct Dinosaurs. This song is called Dawn. Stylistically, it is lush, it is dooming, kind of like what you'd expect from that new Moby record, but done a little better in my opinion. It's a lot more captivating. And although some of the vocal parts are easily Tom York-esque, this is a gorgeous landscape of electronic sounds. Gorgeous vocals in the middle portion of the track, easily my favorite part with the building instrumental. And this album that BRONSON is teasing here, it's shaping up to be quite versatile. I can't really put my finger on where he is going with it. The last single we got sounded like Lord, and now this is sounding a bit more electronic styled Radiohead. I'm looking forward to it. You better be looking me in the eyes for this next song because it is called Look Me in the Eyes. It's by the Canadian alt-rock group Half Moon Run, and clearly the pandemic is having no impact whatsoever on their quality and chemistry, because this song is another gem, yet another gem from this group. Gorgeous, gorgeous vocal harmonies. Just something about this band brings me to my knees pretty much every single time I'm just like at their mercy. Granted, the tune is a little by the numbers and conventional for indie folk and just that folk territory, but my god, the performance sells it. Don't miss this track this week along with this next one by Kungs. It is featuring JHart. It is called Dopamine. This one was given to me by Ben over at Legend BTV. I love the chord progression and the chorus on this one. I love the beat drop as well. The rest of the song, especially the first verse though, is kind of tame, kind of playing it safe too. That's really all I have to say about that one. And now, wrapping up the hot tracks, we have one more electronic song. It is by Sufjan Stevens. It is America. And I was compelled to listen to this all the way through, even though it's 12 and a half minutes. A lot of electronic styles are crammed into it over its runtime. Some of the rich and lavish ones that are of like the holy kind at the tail end. Even some of the more doom-filled soundscapes are on here as well that kind of faintly remind me of Tim Hecker shortly before that. It's an enjoyable and entrancing track that if you have the time this week, make sure you check it out. And of course, there are other songs that I want to highlight this week. These are middle of the road, just okay. You might get more enjoyment out of them. First up, we have Tom Morello, Dan Reynolds, Shea Diamond, and the Bloody Beetroot coming together on the song Stand Up. You might recognize a couple of those names from Rage Against the Machine and Imagine Dragons, and this song, as expected, would be deafening in volume, both from the instrumental and the vocals, of course. The guitars from Tom are great. I like the gimmicky electronic kind of noises. They're really cool. The political message is fitting. I just can't stand the vocal performances, and they just sound way over the top, like they're trying a little too hard. After all, this is Dan Reynolds, and I'm not really the biggest fan of him, so I do have some bias there, I will admit. Anyways, still a middle-of-the-road track, and that one was recommended to me by Pistol Whip. He commented last week, so thank you. Keeping things going, we have Dolla featuring Kanye West, FKA Twigs, and Skrillex on the song Ego Death. I love the Kanye verse on here. I thought Dolla's part was really underwhelming, and that's sad because out of all the great vocal performances that he's had in the past for Kanye on his songs, it doesn't quite translate when he's rapping or singing on here. It's hard to make between the two. The track itself is also a little disordered, and again, not to be picking on Dolla or to be typecasting him. I just would have liked to see him on the hook. Maybe play that out a couple more times because there's no competition with Kanye, the Serpent with Feet vocals, even the FKA Twigs Queen Latifah outro. I'm just not won over completely. Although there is a sick beat on here, there's great performances from some people. I just would have liked to have seen more from Dolla because this is his song after all. This next track, I have to admit, with the band, Lovely the band, I did overrate their debut record. Going back to that now just seems like a chore, and we have a new album on the way from the group at the end of August. I'm really not looking forward to it with this new song I'm checking out. I Don't Want to Go to Your Party is the name of it, and with it I'm just really torn. Stylistically, I think Lovely the band are at a crossroads. They are clearly taking the worst elements of Panic at the Disco, like the raw and brash grit and grandiosity to the chorus, but also cross that with the glossy and clean production aesthetic value of the 1975. It comes out so friggin' confused. I don't know what to think of it. It's like in Dr. Seuss's Sneetches when the machine blows up at the end and they're all looking to get that star on their belly, or they're wanting to get it removed because it's no longer cool or valuable in society. That's what I get out of this new track from Lovely the band. It's just like they don't really know what style they want to go with, what's going to be appreciated by the fans. Who really knows? They don't really have a solidified fan base from what I can tell. I did love a few of their songs off the debut, but I don't know what I want from them now. I feel like, again, I overrated their first album, so I'm a little hesitant with what I want from this group going forward. Again, good songs to their name. If this is going to be the best that they give us on this new record, it might be a disappointment. I'm also just fine with this next song from the Zollas. It is called Come Back to Life. Just coming back to that level of what we've typically associated with the Zollas, or at least what I've become accustomed to, at least with their latest record. Some old fans might be happy with this tune, but as a slick and catchy song, it's just not there engaging me as much as I'd want it to. Some more Canadian content, we have Black Pistol Fire. It is a duo that was born in Canada. A decent tune on here from what I assume wasn't made in a professional studio just because of the homemade distinction in the title, but there's a good sensibility for the guitar playing, the direction of the track. It's a decent rock song. And wrapping up the middle of the road this week, we have Mike Shinoda of Linkin Park fame with his song Open Door. This is in support of a new album I think that's coming out. Dynamically with this single, it is all over the place. The verses are very noisy. The pre-chorus is faintly heard in comparison to that. The hook just is really kind of missing. And I guess if you're comparing it to Linkin Park's standards, you're going to be disappointed for sure. But if you go in open-minded like I previously did with one of Mike's tracks last year, I think it was called Fine, there might be more for you to latch onto. But right now, yeah, the song is just fine for me. See what I did there? Now, while I was fine with those last few tracks, we're going into the cold tracks, the worst of the week now, and these I cannot recommend. And kicking that off, we have Tory Lanez and Kevin Gates on their song Convertible BURT, two artists that I don't really want to see together just because they've been having a rough go of it lately. With that preconception, though, I don't really want to kind of take away from what their potential would be if they're going to push themselves to another level, bring out the best in each other, have better flows, more creative lyricism. That's great, but what I'm hearing on this track, I'm not convinced of that. First off, there's no chemistry between the two. I mean, there's no exchanging of bars to begin with, but on top of that, the beat is just one of the most dime a dozen trap instrumentals I've heard. It is quite embarrassing if we're being honest. Cold War Kids are up next with their single You Already Know. Really just a vexing refrain on here, shrill falsettos, the vocals are hideously mixed. They're just always at the front, so deafening and just over top of everything else that you have a hard time making out what is being recorded. Everything is so loud, I'm not exaggerating with that. Yeah, just really not into this new Cold War Kids single. And finally for this week, I guess we're kind of returning to normal when it comes to 6ix9ine's standards because he put out a new song, Yeah Yeah. Not a fan of it. It is kind of hopping on the Latin trend, however it is lackluster and only 2.5 minutes. The auto-tune could have been tightened up in some places, but what's worse than that is just the personality isn't bleeding through from what I am hearing. I usually come to expect certain things from 6ix9ine, as low as the bar is set for him, but even he doesn't have his own personality on this track, and as much of an obnoxious kind of scream rapper as he is, and as he is a convicted felon, this song is not good. Anyways, there you have it. There's Hot and Cold for this week. Make sure you guys sound off down below in the comments. Let me know what you guys think of these tracks. Did you get any enjoyment out of them? Do you have any new songs for me to listen to next time on Hot and Cold? Be sure to let me know. If you'd like to leave a like, subscribe if you're new in town. I'd appreciate that. As always, thanks for watching and have a rockin' day.